Welcome to our very first series of the channel, Life Under Microscope, where we will explore the tiny life inside us. Cell. They're in every living organisms on the planet, the most basic fundamental unit of life. There are two types of it, prokaryotes which are unicellular and eukaryotes which are multicellular. But for today's video we will understand the eukaryotes. Since we know both plants and animal cells are eukaryotic cells, they actually have a lot in common when it comes to organelles. Think of organelles as the little workers or machines inside the cell, each doing a specific task, just like organs in our body. Have you ever wondered if both plants and animals are made up of same type of cells? What makes them so different? Why can plants make their own food while we can't? Let's dive in to know more. To start with, we will understand the similarities of both plants and animal cells and understand how each organelles work. Starting with cell membrane, the flexible fence-like structure that holds it all in, allowing very specific substance to enter the cell, and hence why it is known as semi-permeable membrane. The next one is the nucleus, the brain of the cell which contains the genetic material and controls the cell. Moving on to the next, we have endoplasmic reticulum, and we have two kinds of it, smooth ER and rough ER. This rough ER is the one that has ribosomes attached to it, which makes protein. Rough ER is the one that is attached to the nucleus. Whereas smooth ER is freely floating in the cytoplasm and has no ribosomes attached to it. And its function is to make lipids. Mitochondria, tiny power plants which generates ATP, which is the energy. The next one is cytoplasm. It is jelly-like substance where every organelle floats. Think of it as a medium and a place where every reaction takes place. Next, we have a very important structure which is known as ribosomes. These are ball-like structures, little protein factories. They help in the protein productions. Either they float in cytoplasms or they're attached to rough ER. These are basically two types, 70S and 80S. In eukaryotics we find 80S and 70S both. In prokaryotes we only find 70S. Please make a note of it. These are the common organelles found in every eukaryotic cell, whether a cell of leaf or your skin. Now let's explore part of plant and animal cells which makes them different. Firstly, the animal cell. Except the organelles mentioned before, we find lysosomes, which is also known as suicidal bag, as it contains all the hydrolytic enzyme. When the cell reaches to a maturity, these bags blast, releasing all the enzyme in the cell and engulfing it, and that's how a cell dies. Coming to the next, as you can see, these are the fibers, bundles of fiber, and the structure, and they give the structure to the cell, and they are responsible in the cell division, which you will know more in some other videos. Moving on to the plant cell, except the common organelles, it also consists of cell wall. Plant cells have an extra outer layer known as the cell wall. It gives them the strength, shape and structure. This is fully permeable, which makes it allow any substance to pass into the cell, unlike the cell membrane which is selective, and hence why cell wall is known as fully permeable membrane. The next one we have is plasmodesmata. It's a narrow opening which attaches it to the other cell, and it is responsible for the transportation of the substances between the cell. The next one is vacuole, and as you can see, it's a huge one. It occupies 90% of the plant cell, and it consists of the gases. It's usually there to store the gases, and it is also responsible for the buoyancy. So if you see a leaf floating on the river or on a water body, it's because of the buoyancy and because of the vacuole. Animal cells have vacuole, but they are very negligible. Coming to the next is chloroplast. Plants are autotrophic, basically they make their own food. But how? They have chloroplast, the little green kitchens that use sunlight to cook food. Animal cells don't have these because we eat instead. I hope that answers your question, what makes a plant cell different from an animal cell? It's not just the organelles that make plants and animal cells different, it's the genes. Plants have DNA that codes for the enzymes and proteins needed for the photosynthesis and the ability to build chloroplast. Animals don't. That's why only plants can make their own food. That's a wrap on the tiniest building blocks of the life cell. But we have only just begun. There is so much more to discover under the life of Microscope, so do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stick around, we are just getting started. Thanks for watching.